going on, DFS family? Dustin here, bringing you our golf in review for the week. We're going to be going over the CJ Cup, and as you can see, our cash core here. I'm going to review that, how we did, or how I did in my double ups, and the entries that I entered into and why I entered into them, and some of those things. And then just quick review of our GPP picks and how they did. Obviously, Xander got second, so very good stud play by Chris there. Bubba was really good, tied for seventh. Sergio was up there, and then Champ was okay. Didn't necessarily kill you, so pretty good core GPP for Chris there. Hopefully y'all followed some of that. Mine was the worst of the group. Obviously JT was fine. Obviously not as good as Xander, but he was still, up there in the top 10, I believe. Cantley and Casey were just terrible. Bubba was really good. And my fade was pretty good too. Should have swapped him and Cantley. Prices, Rory, not good for his price point, but he still was okay. Obviously Neiman and Hadwin and Munoz were all good for their prices too. So, hopefully you paid more attention to Chris and Price, and maybe snuck in Bubba, of mine, so that you did pretty well in the GPP. But I'm going to move up and go visit our cash core. So unfortunately, we see this dude in here again, Mr. Casey. Figured it was a no-cut event, right? He's always burning me when I take him for whatever reason. But hey, no-cut event. Let's take him. And he still finds a way to score me. Never again, Paul Casey. Berger and Matt's kind of mirrored each other almost. I think they're 0.5 points, DK points difference. And then Hovland was a little better than them too. What really helped push me over the edge was, like I said, Bubba I was all in on, and finished tied for seventh, over 100 DK points. And then the X factor for me was Henley. So even though we missed on Casey, if you went Bubba and then Henley, then you should have been fine. So hopefully, you saw Bubba on Chris's mine. He was at a good price point if you went with a cash core, and you filled your lineup in that way. And then obviously, if you're not on our Slack, get in our Slack. We talk about our picks, our other two picks, not in this graph, and give you some insight and stuff like that. So if you're not in our Slack, get in our Slack. So we're gonna go over my double ups here. Like I said, I did a $10. 2 5s and a 3, and then I varied the amount of entries. So I did, this one was 211, so it's kind of middle of the field. The other one we'll look at is like 1800 something, so a lot bigger. And then a couple of the ones I did were the smaller entries, the 22 entries. So I finished 90th out of 211. So I had about 10 spots to spare there. So I didn't necessarily just squeak by, but not as high as I would like. A little Sunday sweat for the double up. We can over here we kind of see how the players did in their ownership, which will vary by the tournament, obviously with the tournament size. So obviously these two guys, my lowest price guys, 73.71. Bailed me out a little bit. If Paul Casey just does what Hovland or Matt or Berger do, then I'm finishing, easily in the money. I wouldn't have had to really sweat too much on Sunday. And after his 5 under on Saturday, I thought there was a chance maybe he would do that again Sunday and redeem himself, but he reverted to his Thursday, Friday form. So we're gonna bounce back here. Remember, that was 211 entries, and always the single entry. Always. So let's look at the one that didn't cash. So this was my GPP, obviously, that was terrible. Don't want to talk about it. But we'll look at this one. So as we can see, a much smaller field, 22. Same lineup, right? And I finished in 11th, so I was one place out. 5 points, right? Thanks. So as you can see, in this one, kind of obviously didn't help me that it was a smaller entry because I didn't cash. Let's look at the $3 one. It was another small entry. I think it was the same size. So where's my $3 at? There it is. It's $3. Yeah, so I finished 9th, right? So another 22 entry field, and I barely squeaked by one spot, but I did, right? So when you get in these smaller fields, these 22 entries, a little bit more luck becomes involved as far as when you're on the cusp, right? So there was probably another 22 entry where I would have cashed, given the other lineups, but this one I didn't. And there's obviously $3 double ups that I wouldn't have cashed with the same line. But you look at the $10 double up with 200 some entries where I was in the money by 10 people. And then this one has 1,800 entries and I was in the cash easily. So what does that tell us? It tells me that I want to enter higher entry contests, right? If I'm easily in the cash at 612th place with the same exact score that I didn't cash in a smaller entry tournament, then, and we saw as the entries got higher, my positioning got better. Same lineup. And so that's just my advice to our listeners is on your double ups, look for the bigger entries. Obviously the single still, but the bigger entry fields, and you have a better chance of cashing. And it's like that almost every week. And I'll probably do it again next week just to show, I don't want to, it happened 1 week. So stay tuned for that next week, and we'll do the same thing. Single entry, higher entry, is the way to go. And so a decent week for the double ups, 4 out of 5 here, 3 out of 4. Okay, so 3 out of 4 is making money, right? And so hopefully our listeners had as much success, even more success, and especially in your GPP plays. And we will see you next week. And if you haven't joined our Slack, get in our Slack. You can get on there, dfsdads.com. We have a tab for it. So if you're not following us on Twitter or Facebook, the DFS Dads, hit us up, and let's go win some money.